Welcome to Your Health Today with Charlie Rouse. In our program today, we'll talk about health issues that are important to you and your family and how products from the world of natural medicine can help us all stay strong, fit, and healthy. And now, here's your host of Your Health Today, Chris Hall.
Well, it's good to have you with us today on our program today, Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse. I am Chris Hall, your host. And it's good to have Dr. Rouse with us here on our program. And Dr. Rouse, you know, in South Georgia, we don't normally deal with snow. Occasionally, we'll get a snowstorm to kind of straggle through every now and then, and we might get a half an inch or an inch. But, you know, it's been snowing a lot in South Georgia. It's just not snow from the sky. It's the pollen from the trees and from the flowers. You walk outside, if you live where we live, you walk outside and you have that nice yellow film of pollen everywhere. And I'm a guy, I've kind of fought that kind of thing with the sinus situation throughout my adult life. How about you? How are you dealing? And good to see you. How about you? How do you deal with all this pollen stuff? Do you wade through it pretty good?
Hey, Chris, always good to do a podcast with you. And boy, oh boy, are you ever so right that it looks like if you look out a mile ahead, it just looks like a haze out there. And it is literally snowing pollen, yellow pollen, bright yellow pollen.
Yes.
We found that one herb in particular called eye bright. It's easy to remember because it makes your eyes brighter. Because if you don't do eye bright, your eyes are going to get red, and your nose is going to get stuffy, and your throat's going to get kind of jumbled up. Eye bright, and when I first learned about it, I learned about it from a physician from Egypt.
Really?
And
wow.
in the world of natural medicine, over there in Israel and Egypt and Jordan, they use a lot of natural medicine for things. And this doctor said eye bright is the best thing you could take for Georgia pollen allergies. And so we had our lab research it, get us some eye bright. We mixed it in there and, put a few other Dr. Charlie ingredients with it. And then I said, well, what are we going to call it? And one of my favorite preachers, Warren Wiersbe, he has a book series called the BE series, like Be Rich, Be Blessed, all of that.
Yeah.
And I said, I like that idea because it's easy to remember that, like the book of Philippians is the Be Joyful book. So if you ever have trouble with lack of joy, go to the book of Philippians. Yeah. So anyhow, Dr. Charlie says, well, look, we got the world's best physician. She knows her stuff. She says use eye bright. We put it together. We tried it on a few people, and they said, it's perfect for allergies, Dr. Charlie. What are you going to call it? And that Warren Wiersbe book that I had in my hand, Be Joyful, I said, we're going to call it Be Allergy Free.
That sounds good to me. And I am a veteran of Be Allergy Free. So it helps me a lot.
So thanks to Warren Wiersbe, there came the name. And thanks to our Egyptian physician, who was at the time working with CDC Atlanta, we got it. And really and truly, if you want it doesn't make people drowsy.
Right.
They compare it to Claritin and Zyrtec. And I actually have people that have used both or all of the different over-the-counter products. And they say, Dr. Charlie, that physician from Egypt knew what she was talking about. And Be Allergy Free has been our number one seller for year after year and year.
And, we love the flowers and we love the budding trees. They are absolute. And this year, it's hard to compare year to year. But, boy, this year, it looks like they're just so much more beautiful than they have maybe been in the past. I don't know. Maybe the Lord is saying, okay, y'all have gone through enough. I'm going to give you some beauty.
I think so. I think that God is gracing us with the beauty of the earth. Yeah. I mean, the sky is blue. The flowers are radiant. I mean, it's just like the magenta is really rich red. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. And of course, a good rain shower that comes through will kind of settle the pollen down. And we've been very fortunate to get some rain, but we also know sometimes with the rain comes the storms. But we've been, where we live, where we are, we've been kind of spared all of that. By the way, let me just give you some quick information, and we'll get into our program today. If you want to talk to Dr. Charlie Rouse about anything we talk about today, you can call him. Here's the number. It's 229-436-0100. 229-436-0100. If you don't get Dr. Charlie, you'll get sweet Miss Holly, and she'll give you some good information. Take your number and your message, and Dr. Charlie will get back with you as soon as he possibly can. You can also go to where our podcast can be found, yourhealthtodaypodcast.com, yourhealthtodaypodcast.com, and you'll find links where you can send Dr. Rouse an email, and you'll find other information there, yourhealthtodaypodcast.com. All right, Dr. Rouse, I'm an almond guy. I love almonds, and you have you've sung the praises of almonds and how good they are for you. And I love almonds. I love those kind of walnuts and things like that. But today you want to talk about pistachio nuts. Now, I love pistachio nuts too, but there's some pretty significant health benefits for pistachio nuts, correct?
You better believe it. And on the almond side, that's zinc. And we've known for years that if you eat 6 almonds a day, that you get the sufficient amount of zinc. And back during COVID, I mean, everybody was zinc.
That's right.
Zinc deficient and zinc looking for, and they were panicking when they couldn't find a bottle of zinc vitamins.
Right.
They could have went to the grocery store, got some almonds, and been there.
Yeah.
Now, pistachio is unique in that when the Queen of Sheba came up from way down yonder to see King Solomon, she was overwhelmed at King Solomon's pistachio trees.
Right.
I mean, and it made a deep impression in her heart, and she decreed it to be the royal food.
Oh, really? Okay.
Royal
cool.
food.
Cool.
The king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar,
Right.
he was so impressed with the trees of Jerusalem that he physically had the trees transplanted from Jerusalem to the Babylonian gardens.
How about that?
One of the 7 wonders of the world at the time. And ancient medicine has always been impressed with pistachio. It's high in protein. It's sugar-free. I mean, you can't find many sugar-free snack foods.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's got health benefits. And through the years, they began to study it, and they found that this may be a little nut, but it's got a lot of big benefits.
Yeah.
And once they started looking at it, they found that people who eat pistachios on a regular basis have better heart health. And they said, well, you reckon it's in the oil of the nut? And it was. It was absolutely people who eat pistachios on, once a week, twice a week, their cholesterol was perfect.
Wow.
And is that saying that it's as good as a statin drug? I would probably say that God's pistachio is probably better than a statin drug.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't get into healthy foods.
Well, it doesn't have the side effects of those statin drugs either, does it, with pistachio nuts?
So then they said, well, wait, we got this type 2 diabetic over here, and they've got blood sugar issues, and they're prone to cheat. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They already take something for their diabetes, so they say, well, I can...
That chocolate cake looks so good.
I can go ahead and chocolate cake that. So they said, well, let's do this. Let's pistachio them and let them eat their chocolate cake. And what they found was that the pistachio lowered the blood sugars. So it was a protective agent.
Yeah.
And in the long run, they said, hey, we may have hit a home run here. So if you're not into it, at least do it. Now, when I go to an Italian restaurant, and I overeat, I love anything they have, from the lasagna to the spaghetti to the pasta to the pizza. But if I'm in a real Italian restaurant, I always ask the maitre d', I said, Do you have any spumoni?
Spumoni.
It's ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Cherry, chocolate, pistachio.
Really?
I love
Cool.
pistachio ice cream.
Yeah.
It is good.
Wow.
And now I can tell my wife, she always looks at me, she said, Dr. Charlie, you just had everything they eat. You don't have room for, and I'm going to say, yeah, but that's pistachio.
There you go.
That pistachio's taking care of my blood sugar. So bring on the dessert and have a good time. Yes, it's good for you.
So is there a pistachio product, or do we need to just go and buy the nut itself?
Yeah, the nut. I mean, if you don't mind popping the shell open, there it goes. Now they make it so convenient at the grocery store. They're usually over there where the dates and the pecan, the walnut, the almonds are. And there's a little bag. And the only thing that'll set you back is the price.
Oh, yeah, I know. Do most of those come from California? Is that is mostly a California thing for U.S. consumption, pistachio nuts? Yeah.
I know when I was in Israel, Jordan, it's like every meal we had hummus, cheese, some kind of nut.
Yeah.
And lots of fruit.
Yeah. Oh, very good. All right, so pistachio nuts is a very good thing for us. And again, if you want more information, you can contact Dr. Rouse, 229-436-0100. While we're on that particular subject a little bit, I had a stomach issue a while back. I ate something that said, no, we're not going to agree with you one iota. My wife, who is beside you, she's my chief doctor. She says, well, we're going to go to the grocery store and we're going to get some prunes, some pitted prunes. And, she prescribes prunes for me, which I normally don't eat on a regular basis. But when I have a stomach issue, sometimes we get that. Is that a good thing? I mean, just pitted prunes, and they seem to kind of help me out, even me out. Is that something we want to look at on a regular basis?
On a regular basis. At the Rouse house, in our cabinet is just that, the pitted prune. Yeah. They make it so convenient.
And they're good. They really are good.
And the last batch I bought, each prune was individually wrapped so they wouldn't dry out. They wouldn't go away, Okay. And I said, well, there's no excuse for that. Yeah. But on a daily basis, I mix me up a smoothie in the morning. And one of the companies that provides this nutrition for bone enhancement, bone, or what they call muscle enhancement. Sarcopenia is muscle wasting. And I take their nutrition to preserve my muscles. And I looked at the bottle, and one of the active ingredients was juice from prune.
The prune. Okay.
And I found out that the juice from the prune helps your growth hormone. Right. They call it a growth hormone. And the older we get, the more we need a refurbishment and growth hormone. So eat that prune and be healthy.
Right, well, my wife, she's smarter than I am. I give her full credit for that. All right, let's turn the page a little bit. Up the road from where we are is the watermelon capital of the world, Cordele, Georgia. And in fact, full disclosure, I grew up on a watermelon farm.
Oh, you did?
My dad was a World War II veteran, and when he came back from the war, became a row crops farmer, and I worked many a summer in the watermelon fields as I was growing up. And but watermelon, I think there's been some discussion in the past. Well, it's too sweet. Maybe the sugar's not really good for you. Is this good for you? Should you have it? Is a good thing to have? Of course, everybody loves a good, cool slice of watermelon. It can be so refreshing. So, what about watermelon and the benefits of watermelon? We're kind of in the nuts and fruits today, but what about watermelon?
And nobody's going to eat the whole watermelon, so don't ever worry about the sugar content.
Right.
You'd have to eat the whole watermelon. Yeah. And look at the watermelon today. They got seedless. Right. They got the little bitty one. They got the great big one. And we all have our favorites. But I'm like you, Cordele, Georgia. Yeah, when that watermelon comes into play, we're only 40 miles from Cordele. We're actually in the backyard of the world's best watermelons. Yes. And they've been doing a lot at the University of Georgia, home of the Bulldogs. up there, they do a lot of research on Georgia commodity, and one of them is, let's look at the watermelon. When I was in college, we did a lot of research on peaches.
Oh, yeah.
But now they're into the watermelon, and they classified the watermelon as a botanical fruit, and it is one of those things that's just very rich. But if I'm not mistaken, and you'd have to Google it to figure it out, I think them Georgia Bulldogs are saying it's really not a fruit, it's a vegetable.
Yeah, that's been a debate. Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable?
Is it a tomato or a tomato?
Tomato, potato, I don't know.
But it is rich it is very rich in minerals.
Yeah.
And what they found is that people who eat watermelon, it relieves achy muscles.
Oh.
So when you were out in the field trying to heave a heavy watermelon and your back was breaking, all you had to do was crack one open and eat the heart out of it.
And we did that many times. So.
And it would do it. The red in the watermelon is lycopene.
Yeah.
It's what makes a tomato red.
Yeah.
And they found in all of the prostate and breast therapy, lycopene, whether it's from a tomato or a watermelon, was very anti-cancer and very good for it. So you better believe it. We got a lot of good things, and anytime you can support anti-inflammatory, go for it. And in the same category as your prunes, watermelon helps with regularity.
It does.
So go for it.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Yeah, and of course, Georgia claims to have the best watermelons. Watermelons are grown everywhere, Texas, California, Florida, but you can't beat a good old Georgia watermelon, especially after it's sat in the refrigerator for a while. And speaking of, getting the heart out of one of those melons, we would do that on occasions, just to kind of relieve what was going on.
Yep.
The trouble was, it was 100 degrees in the watermelon field, and that watermelon would be nice and warm. But watermelon's very, very good for you, and we would encourage everyone to look for that good old Georgia melon. It's the best. All right, we're going to take a break on Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse, and we'll be back with more information in just a moment.
Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse. We'll be right back.
Who is Dr. Charlie Rouse? Dr. Rouse is a pharmacist with a degree from the University of Georgia College of Pharmacy. He is an expert in the world of natural medicine. He is the founder and owner of the Medicine Man's Corner, a business which specializes in pharmaceutical-grade nutritional vitamins, natural products, and more. Dr. Rouse is a natural product formulator, writer, author, lecturer, and radio and TV personality. Dr. Rouse is a husband and father. He is also a Christian who really cares about helping people. For more information on the many products Dr. Rouse has to offer, visit his website, themedicineman.com. You can contact Dr. Rouse through his website, or you can email him at drrouse@att.net. That's DOCTORROUSE@att.net. Or you can call Dr. Rouse at 229-436-0100 to set up a confidential professional healthcare consultation in person, over the phone, or on the internet. Dr. Rouse would love to hear from you.
Welcome back to Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse.
And it's good to have you back with us on our program today. And Dr. Rouse, let's stay with our theme today. We're talking about fruits and nuts. Kiwi. Now, I've never been a kiwi kind of guy. Not really against it. Have nothing against it. It's never been on my palate much, a kiwi. But again, when you talk about kiwi and with fruits and vegetables and nuts, these are God's gift to us, aren't they? And what about the health benefits of kiwi?
Right, and Psalm 104, verse 14, the herb is for the health, is for your health. It's for the service of man. The Chinese were the first to really get kiwi into the world market, and they called it gooseberry. They actually said that's the berry the goose eats before he flies the million miles,
Okay.
And they say, good for the goose, good for me. Experimentation laboratory results looking at the kiwi. It is good fruit. It's rich in the fat-soluble vitamin A, K, E, which is good for the blood, good for the blood flow, good for the bone density. But they found in the latest research, especially when Corona, was becoming a worldwide phenomenon, they said we need vitamin C. And we're running out of sources of vitamin C. We always knew the Florida orange was good in vitamin C, but the kiwi was better.
Cool.
And so people now are learning that kiwi fruit, rich in vitamins, very healthy, and primarily it is now becoming a fruit of choice for cardiovascular. So if you want a good preventative snack, there's your kiwi.
Wow.
Go for it.
So
and if you get it from the grocery store, is it soft? And if it's not, take your little kiwi, throw it in a brown paper bag. 4 days later, it'll be ready to go.
So a kiwi a day keeps the doctor away.
Hey,
and would you suggest a dose of a kiwi a day? Is that good?
That would be healthy for colon, good for regularity, super for vitamin A, K, E. Everybody needs those fat-soluble vitamins. And now, looking at bone density, they're finding that if you don't have vitamin K, not only does your blood not clot properly, your bones don't stay strong properly. So, kiwi.
I think for the benefit of everyone, for their own health, it's good to have this information about what can you get out of fruits and vegetables and nuts and because you don't hear this information a lot in popular media, from popular sources of information, because they're pushing the prescription drugs and this, that, and the other. I wish we could just get all the country together and say, okay, we're going to have a class on the benefits of just eating some fruit every now and then, and vegetables. And we need to do that, don't we?
We do. We need to learn to stock our cabinet, our refrigerator, our homes with just some of the God's created naturals. They're telling me, Chris, that young couples that are seriously wanting to have children, that the sperm count is down as much as 56% in all the men. All the men.
Okay.
And it has a lot to do with the environmental pesticide, herbicide, but more so, I think, Charlieology thinks, in the fact that we really eat a lot of junk food, and we don't get a kiwi or a walnut or an almond or a pistachio or a watermelon. And if we did just that, not only would these young couples probably find it easier to have a baby, but I guarantee you that baby would be healthier in the long run.
Right. I'm proud of all of my children. I'm really proud of my daughter, but she's the mother of our 2 grandchildren. She's very conscientious about training them as children to eat fruit and vegetables. She insists on it, and she explains why. She just doesn't say because Mama or Daddy says so. She takes the time to explain it to our children. Really, we need to train up our children in the way they should go in spiritual things, but also in dietary things too, don't you think?
Amen. And you know how we are. We teach the Bible, but we teach them why you would want to do that, the benefits from it.
Right.
That praising the Lord has a whole lot more to do than just praising the Lord. Like the Bible says, He inhabits the praise of His people.
Yeah, that's true.
And look what a child's going to grow up knowing that, hey, that watermelon, it's not just good and tasty.
Yeah.
That watermelon is good for my kidneys or good for my lungs.
Right. Well, when we visit our grandkids, they will inform me on what they have learned as far as nutrition is concerned, and because my daughter takes time, and my son-in-law as well takes time to say, okay, this is why we're eating this. This is good for you, and really they do a great job in communicating.
Well, that was your grandkids about the milk.
Yeah,
they didn't want no water.
Yeah,
milk.
My grandson said we don't need this water milk, and because I had some low-fat milk on one occasion for some reason, and he said, don't get that anymore, Poppy. It's not good. So we haven't had any more at my house. Well, Dr. Rouse, we're coming close to the end of the program. When we're recording our program today, this is Holy Week, and you and I are pastors, and we love the Lord. But what a special week as we're leading up to Good Friday and for Easter Sunday as well. As much as we care about the physical health of people and the physical well-being of people, we know how important the spiritual well-being of people is as well. And so I thought I'd give you just a moment to talk with everyone about the importance of Easter and really what Easter means and how, every one of us are special creations of God. When I speak to young people, sometimes I'll tell them, you're a masterpiece. You're the only one of you that God has ever made. God has never made anyone like you before. He'll never make anyone like you again. You are a special one-time creation of God. He knit you together just the way you are. You are a special, unique masterpiece that God has made. And He does have a wonderful plan for your life. And it begins with faith and trust in Jesus Christ. And so I thought I'd give you the opportunity to just share about how important Easter is and how people need to understand the truth of Easter.
It is. Easter is our blessed time of reflection, and we remember what God did for us. And He knew the world was in a mess. We are sinners, and the truth is that we had no way out but God's grace. And He said, I'm coming. And as a God, He came and allowed Himself to be enveloped as a man.
Yeah.
And there He was in human flesh, raised in a human family. But He lived a perfect, sinless, harmless, perfect life. And because He did that, 30 years into it, and then just living it in that ministry for us, willing to die for us. It's just hard to fathom. It's hard to believe. Right. And when He did what He did, and He went to the cross, they pummeled Him, they beat Him, they did everything but kill Him before they could kill Him on the cross.
Right.
But in that dying, at that moment, when that miracle was performed, even the earthquake that came through Jerusalem and the rocks cried out, and the veil in the temple was split from the top to the bottom. God was just opening the way to the whole world. And He said, whosoever will just believe. And in my own life, 29 years went by.
Yeah.
But I was created by God.
Yeah.
And He created me for a purpose. And He always loved me. And He never forgot me. And He continually persuaded me. I walked into the presence of God, sort of like Enoch in the book of Genesis chapter 5, where it says that Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in my late 20s, God blessed me. My twins, Jason and Gio, my ma-in-law, a Christian lady, she said, you owe it to your children to give them an opportunity to enjoy fellowship in a church. So I took my kids to church, and I heard the gospel. Yeah. And at 29, I got gloriously saved. Amen. I said, Jesus, forgive me of my sin.
Yes.
Please, Jesus, come into my life. Take control. Do whatever you want. Lord, I'm so far behind. I'm 29 years old. I have not read your book. They call it the Bible. But I'm purposing even now that I'm going to not read all the other stuff, the newspapers and the magazines, unless I have read your book first. And God put me under the power of a good preacher, and the Word of God just started infiltrating my life. And at age 29, I'm 73 now, and I've never regretted 1 second for giving my life to Jesus. And it was as easy as a prayer.
Yeah.
God be merciful to me, a sinner.
And
God saved my life.
And he changed you. You know, sometimes I've had people say, well, you know, I would become a Christian, but I don't think I can change. And I tell them, look, you can't change. You're absolutely right that you can't change, but God will change you. He makes us a new creation, doesn't he? And
I would say probably 3 years after that, I surrendered to the ministry, never knowing that God was calling me to the ministry.
Yeah.
But my aunt, the night I surrendered, she said, "Now I watched you get saved, Charlie, and I watched you grow fast and immensely in your Christian life. But tonight, I want to tell you something that I never have ever told anybody, but I'm going to tell you. The day you were born at Phoebe Putney, January 11, 1948, and the day you came home from Phoebe Putney to my mama's house, and she picked you up out of that bassinet, my godly mother dedicated you to the Lord. Not only would God just save your soul, but that God would have you and use you. And if he wanted you, she gave you to him for the ministry. And when I surrendered, she said, "You don't know what that does, but my mama's prayers have been answered today."
Oh, wow. How powerful are the prayers of mamas, indeed.
Amen.
All right. Well, happy Easter to everyone. And by the way, if you want to hear Dr. Charlie preach, as good as he talks about what we talk about with health issues, you ought to hear the man preach. Liberty Baptist Church on Facebook, Liberty Baptist Church from Albany, Georgia. Connect with that, and you can hear Dr. Charlie preach the word, and he's a wonderful, wonderful preacher. Well, Dr. Rouse, good program today, and we've shared a lot of good information, and we'll be doing some more in the future. And thank you for everyone who's joined us today on our program, and we'll connect with you again soon on Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse.
Thank you for joining us for our program today. You can reach Dr. Rouse online through his website, themedicineman.com, or you can email Dr. Rouse at drrouse@att.net. Dr. Rouse is also available by phone at 229-436-0100. Join us again next time for Your Health Today with Dr. Charlie Rouse. Until then, please stay safe and may God bless you.